what do I got for you today, man? We just did a whole graphic novel piece while in lockdown, man. The whole year we've been working on a brand new fucking comic book piece called Cockhammer Lives, the graphic novel. 152 pages of full color, uncut, uncensored insanity. Cockhammer Lives, the graphic novel, all up on that IndieGoGo piece from now till April 20th, 2021. That's right, Smoke Weed Day. And as a bonus, we got stretch goal goodies. If we hit that little $500 goal, we get these black and white mini comics set in the Strangeville universe that come free with your graphic novel. Jump in now, gang. You don't want to miss out on this epic Strangeville event. Oh, hey, everybody. It's Kevin Strange. All up in your bitch-ass face piece. Once again, here to celebrate the 4-digit mark on Cockhammer Lives, the graphic novel piece. We hit $1,000 yesterday on the campaign. Jeremy up in the building. Congrats, man! Thank you very much. It's always stressful getting to that first $1,000. That's always it's always my goal. My goal is to try to get us to $1,000. With each campaign, anything over $1,000 is always gravy. It's always icing on the cake, as it were. That allows us to do some more funky stretch goals. We're going to do this comic book I'm working on right here as the next stretch goal. I was not. For those following along, who have been part of the saga here, the drama. These last few days of live streams, I failed in my attempt to finish Nixon and Hogan Hate Comics by Friday, so that I could have it printed off and take it to the Days of the Dead convention with me next weekend in Chicago. I was not able to finish the book. I'm working on it right now, as a matter of fact. I'm doing the finishing details on page 6 right now, so I didn't even get close to finishing everything in time for the show, which, it was a long shot that was going to happen. And that's okay, because as long as this comic is finished by the 20th, finished and printed by the 20th, I can include it as the next stretch goal for the campaign. So everybody will get a physical copy of the 17-page Nixon and Hogan Hate Comics, along with all the rest of the goodies that we're getting with the campaign. That puts the total of free black and white comics that are coming with this, with your Cockhammer Lives, up to almost 75 pages, which is nuts. It's nuts. You guys are getting almost 75 pages worth of free comics, along with the comic you paid for. So that's pretty cool. Happy to provide all that for you guys. I hook up these campaigns. You get a lot of a good value. You don't just get a cool comic that's worth the value all by itself, but you get all kinds of stickers and posters and free comics
along with it. So that's cool. All right. What I like to do when I'm doing the finishing part of the page is I like to go through and fatten up the line weight on the outlines, as you can see. And it really gives it kind of a, well, not only does it create a depth of field that is pleasing to the eye, those figures just pop right out at you when I do it, but I think it gives it almost, because I go so thick with the lines, I think that it gives it almost a quality of like I've drawn the whole thing in magic marker. And that is that's a really cool, I really like the bold, thick lines when it comes to black and white comics. Not a lot of comic books look like this. It gives it a real unique look, and I just find it very aesthetically pleasing to just bust these lines out like this. And so I spot blacks. The notion of spotting blacks is finding all the different areas of your page that are going to be solid black that anchors down the art. The art doesn't look as floaty and as weak if it has lots of bold black parts to it. And so that's another thing that we do in the finishing details. And then I just throw a lot of rendering down, a lot of I'll put in a lot of what is it called? I can't think of the term now. A lot of dots and dashes. Stippling. Couldn't think of the term. I'm going brain dead. Probably having a stroke right in front of your eyes. I'll do a lot of stippling to get some texture in. Oh yeah, that's looking solid. That's looking good. I have to take my time. You know, I consider myself a pretty fast illustrator, but I can't rush it so much that it doesn't look cool. Can't do it. It's got to look cool. So I'm pissed at myself for not being able to hit that that deadline, finish the whole thing today so that I can print it and give it away at the Days of the Dead show. But you know, I'm working as fast as I can. Could have started a little sooner, I suppose. Okay. That's done. Do the ground here. At the base of the trees. If I would have started 4 or 5 days sooner, I would have nailed it, but I didn't. I didn't even know I was going to do it. I oftentimes work impulsively, and sometimes the price you pay for working impulsively is that that things don't get done. So here's where I'm going to go in and do a lot of stippling into the. Well, these are. Hang on. I got to go down to 5. These are background. There we go. So we're going to stipple in some dots and dashes throughout the tree foliage here, the branches and leaves, and just sort of create texture for the background. And these are little finishing details I do on every page to really. I like a fully textured page. There's a term for a sort of anxiety over having blank white spots on a page that you're working on. It's called graphomania, and I'm not sure that I necessarily suffer from graphomania. More that when I look at art designed by people who suffer from graphomania and have to try to put marks on every single inch of a page with leaving no empty white space whatsoever, I find that to be very cool looking. So I like to mimic that style, whether or not I actually give a fuck if there's white on the page or not. I don't know. Maybe I do suffer from graphomania, but I definitely like that style. It's a crazy, chaotic indie comic style where you just go nuts with the render and detail until there's almost no white left on the page, and I dig it. I dig it. I think it adds the grim, grimy look and style of Strangeville, and so that's what I incorporate into my style. And this takes a while, man. It just takes a while. Like, you can't rush this stuff. I think I'm going to pull out this stuff and well, no, I don't need to pull it out. I'm going to go over this stuff a little bit thicker because it's a little bit closer up than those trees are, and so it needs a little bit bolder of a line weight to sort of give it the impression that it's closer to the viewer. Super stoked to hit that $1,000 level. That means we unlocked 11 by 17 posters for all backers yesterday. That actually fulfills all the stretch goals I had planned for the campaign, and had to make a new one. Adding this comic that I didn't even know I was going to make when I launched the campaign. Adding it as a stretch goal to the campaign. Everybody gets one. This is a really cool. It'll look like upside down arrows. This is a really cool comic. I like how it turned out a lot. I like the art a lot. I try to level up every time. Okay, we put a bunch of overgrown grass in there, but just like with the trees, now we're going to go in and stipple and just really cover this ground in texture and make it look like this is a real overgrown part of in this story. Kevin Strange lives lives in a secluded log cabin in the middle of the woods where he just draws butts all day. This is Nixon and Hogan finding his cabin, and they're gonna go. They're here to kill him for putting them in comic books. They never agreed to this shit, man. Yeah, this is good stuff. So we're only $170 shy of adding this comic to the the backers. So if you haven't backed yet, if you're still on the fence about whether you want to contribute to this campaign, there's more incentive for you to do so. Only 170 bucks gets us where we're going. And I don't know what I'll put as a stretch goal after we hit that. If we hit the $1,200 stretch goal, I'll have to make a $1,500 stretch goal. I'm not quite sure what that will be. We might just make that a donation to charity or something. We might pick a charity and donate in the honor of the Strange Heads. We'll see. We'll see. We got to get to the $1,200 goal first before we can do anything like that. So now I'm just adding some of the rendering, some of the stippling onto the characters. Give their clothing more depth and texture. Give the illusion of a light source, an illusion of shadow, and depth along their bodies. There are a lot of different ways to do this, to approach rendering, to approach the use of lights and darks, the use of texture, and these are my particular favorites for my style. That's a good looking. Man, these are some good looking pages. That's good looking stuff right there. This is what drives me, gang. This is what gets me up and gets me jazzed every morning, is being able to look at these pages as I finish them and just be not trying to suck my own dick, but when I get better at art, it really excites me. This is what I'm trying to do. I mean, this is what I do every day. I'm trying to get a little bit better and a little bit better than the day before. And when I can pull off some images that look this clean, I mean, that's some clean looking black and white art. And I'm just, I guess I'm sucking my own dick here. But I never in a million years thought I could draw art this clean, say 3 years ago. I thought it was impossible for me to ever be at this level creatively. And it's like magic for me watching this stuff come together right in front of my eyes, even though it's my hand and brain that are creating this stuff. Our buddy Lorenzo Sleestack comes in and says, "You're getting better and better." I appreciate that, man. You've been around for a few years. You were around for the original Dead Shit release, and that the art on that is it's rough, man. It was the best I could do at the time, and I think Dead Shit is a cool story. I think that's a real funny story that we told. The art now is so much better than it was then, and man, it's just a result of a ton of hard work. And I appreciate you recognizing that. I appreciate you noticing. I'm only going to keep trying to get better and better. I'm never going to slack off. You guys are willing to spend your hard-earned money on these comics, on these stories, the stories of Strangeville. It's my responsibility to get better and better every time and continue to tell you guys the best stories possible in this silly, whacked out universe. I'm having to pay close and careful attention to the inventory as we move towards the convention next weekend, because I have to make sure that I keep enough copies of Cockhammer around to fulfill the campaign in a couple of weeks here. I can't be going to the convention and selling them all. So I have to before I leave. I have to. In fact, I'll probably do that in this next couple of days. Take advantage of being off tomorrow for Easter, off of the night job for Easter. That will allow me to take inventory and make sure that I hold back all the copies I need to fulfill this campaign. And if I have to order more, that's a great problem to have. It takes about 2 weeks. To do a reprint order. If I have to, I mean, wouldn't that be awesome if I had to do a reprint order before we even went live, or before we even finished it? Lorenzo says, I wish there was some sort of pull list for indie comics so customers don't miss out on backing books. Yeah, that would be. There's so many, and there's such a diverse array of they come from all walks of life. Like some of the stuff I back. I find on like Instagram. I'll start following an artist on Instagram, and I'll notice that they're an indie comic artist, and they've got their stuff for sale on like their Etsy store or something like that, and I end up buying indie comics that way. There's indie comics Twitter, of course. I buy comics that way. There's just so many different ways to that. It would be great to have that resource. All right. A couple little things here, add a little depth to some of this stuff. Maybe I'll make that door outline and the outline of the corner here a little bit more. Working with black and white is really challenging. It's a lot different than working with color. And these last, 3 mini books that I've done have all been black and white, and it's a challenge to create clarity when you only have, because I don't use gradients. As you can see, I work in stark black and whites. That's it. So it's it's a real artistic challenge to create clarity. Lorenzo asks, "Is the campaign still open?" Yeah, it's going strong till the 20th. And right now we are only $170 shy of unlocking this comic I'm working on right here as the next stretch goal. So we've still got about 17 days left on the campaign. So yeah, you could jump right in right now if you want. And help us get to that big 1,200. That'd be a nice milestone for this one. Nice milestone for this one. I'm adding some little shading down here. I guess you could call it like a thick bold line on the bottom and a thinner one on the top that creates the illusion of like shadow or depth. Cool. I like to space out my purchases so I don't run out of money for food, rent, etc. I know, man. You're a beast as far as backing indie comics, man. I want you to know that the indie comics community really appreciates you and all your support, man. You take care of us. You back so many books, and I hope that you find enjoyment in the ones that you back. I hope that you're getting a lot of entertainment value out of these indie comics. I hope that you're backing creators that are doing you justice, giving you the best books that they can. I personally love indie comics. I'm not really a superhero comics guy these days. I mean, I was when I was younger, but the comics that are really interesting to me these days are the offbeat indie comics that are definitely not superhero stuff and always have like a weird quirk and personality to them that is extremely unique. Very unique voices are what I appreciate in indie comics, and that includes a lot of the stuff that I back in the crowdfunding campaigns. Like I always back Jason Brubaker. I think he's a really unique voice in indie comics. His comic Phobos is getting ready to fulfill. I always back Josh Howard and his he's doing T-Bird and Throttle right now, but he did Dead by 17. He's a really unique voice and such a clean, fantastic style of illustrating. Reminds me a lot of Bruce Timm's style. Josh can produce some amazing clean lines with a traditional do this here. Traditional inking. I always thought Josh Howard's style was achieved through digital art, and it turns out that he inks by hand every one of those pages, and he has it blows my mind how clean and precise his inks are doing it traditionally like that. I see a lot of indie creators are moving away from the superhero tropes. In my mind, it's like there's already like, why are we so out of focus? Focus on this thing sucks. I need a new camera. What was I going to say? Oh, I feel like indie comics should be a like counter programming to the superhero stuff, because there's already multi-million-dollar companies that are producing that stuff, and it's like can't compete with that. And I understand they're doing it poorly these days, but even the poorly created superhero comics from the big two or whatever, they just have such a powerful reach that indie comics just by nature don't have. And I think that it's smarter, in my opinion, it's smarter to counter program that stuff than directly compete with it. I think it's ridiculous to think that putting a crowdfunded comic together that at best case scenario, like a real strong book, will get 2,000 backers, and you're talking about a circulation of 2,000 is nothing compared to the 10 million circulation that a mainstream crappy woke superhero comic written by people that don't even like superheroes, that are always seeking to do nothing but deconstruct the superhero and sort of lecture and punish the fan for even liking superhero comics. They have such a large reach that it's like these guys that want to counter program with superhero material in the indie world, they're just a run of 2,000 isn't touching those those mainstream comics. Just my opinion. I mean, you got to do what your heart, tells you to do. If superhero comics are are what's in your heart, then do them. I'm not suggesting that you should make something outside of your passion. I just think that it's smart for indie comics creators to counter program that mainstream stuff. We're going to fill in some of these knots and add a little bit of black. I don't know if that looks good or not. Yeah, it's fine. Do that here too. Yeah. Yeah, that looks cool. I don't know if you're familiar with George Peter Gatsis, and I guess he's a little controversial, but his Joe King series is influenced by Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Well, that sounds interesting. And I really enjoy controversial people. What's controversial about them? I mean, I tend to support people that the mainstream rejects um, on either side of the issue, whether it be conservatives or liberals. They tend to both sides tend to reject the real renegades, the real outlaws, the real uh, bold voices. Oh yeah, it's looking cool. I'm just adding a little bit of texture to one side of these tree trunks in the background. I don't want to draw a lot of attention to the background. Those trees, I want them to just sort of float back there and create the environment, create the location. But I am going to throw a little bit of texture to one side to create the illusion of a light source. They're looking a little bit flat, and I do want them to look kind of flat because I want it to just be background stuff, but I think adding a little bit of light source is going to help here. I think that's going to be that. I'm going to make a call. Go ahead and outline these foreground logs entirely. And let's throw a little bit of stippling on them. That'll help create that illusion of a light source, depth. Okay. Okay. A bit on here. Here. And I think we got a finished page. All right. Yeah. Page 6 in the bag. This is Nixon and Hogan. Nixon's given Hogan a hatchet, and they're going to take these hatchets and climb into Kevin Strange's cabin and kill him for putting him in a comic book. That's where we're at in the plot right now. Renzo says, a lot of the controversy seems to be guilt by association. Indie comics seems often cliquish these days, especially with Comicsgate and ex-Comicsgate. Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, to the degree that it's sort of flip flops, turns inside out. Ex-CGers fighting ex-CGers, people going back to CG. I tend to try to just be an island of my own. I support people that I think are. I need to do the highlights on Nixon's hair here before we're done. I tend to support people that I believe are genuine artists that have a love for the art form and that aren't grifting, that aren't in it for social media clout, and that aren't using the medium of comic books or storytelling in general just as a way to make a quick buck. So to me, the allegiances aren't super important, although there are some people like, really, really toxic internet stalkers and bullies and harassers like the dudes from the war campaign that I just won't support. I just won't support on principle. I can't support people who sort of get off on the misery of others. That's not who I am as a person or an artist. I can't. Even my worst mortal enemies, I don't wish to be harassed and chased off the internet. Like I just don't like they lose out by not having my support and friendship, and that's as far as I'm willing to go. That's as vindictive as I get, as I just don't associate with people, and I don't like the guys that really harass other people. Other than that, like I said, I tend to support anybody. Like I don't care what side of any hashtag people are on or whatever. So that's what's taken me so long. That's why I wasn't able to get this thing done by today. Is I have to go through and do all that rendering and stippling and creating those bolder outlines on the foreground characters and stuff. But man, it makes it for a good looking fucking page. We get to $1,200 and you guys get this comic in your bag along with the other two black and white indie comics. Sarsaparilla, Rocco and Sarsaparilla's Sickness Time story, and then the other comic book, the other black and white comic, Neon Guts, comes with your Cockhammer Lives graphic novel. So it's going to be like 75 pages of free comics, along with your 152-page graphic novel, and that, along with the stickers, the die-cut stickers you get with the campaign right here. Couple of die-cut stickers you get with the campaign. Here's those two black and white comics that are already done, already printed, that you get free with your comic. These stretch goals have already been unlocked. Story about a peeping Tom who falls into a vat of toxic waste and turns into a toxic waste monster. It burns. Yeah. That's gonna do it for us today, gang. I got a lot more work to do. I'm going to try to get another couple of pages done. I got to get this comic finished for you guys so that it's printed and ready to ship on the 20th when the campaign ends. So I appreciate you hanging out today. Thanks for coming by, Jeremy. Thanks for coming by, Lorenzo. And remember, I'm Kevin Strange in Strangeville. Peace out.